Party time! We got everybody finally together, and things are about to go wrong. We got someone lurking in the shadows. Jinshi seems to be worried and under the impression this is not going to go too well. I'm assuming it's not going to go too well. I'm assuming it has to be something where they're going to target one of these girls or target the Emperor himself. The only way that you can do that, I talked about this at the end of the last episode, is you have to kind of do something that doesn't involve directly attacking them, and I mean directly attacking them by making like a actual like physical like assault type of thing, because they can't really do that and they have to operate kind of in the shadows and use their smarts a little bit on it. So the only thing that would make sense to me is to attempt to poison these girls, but the thing that they don't have a understanding of is the idea that Mao Mao will probably be here as the tester, and they don't probably have a record of her in whatever it is that they're looking forward to doing, which won't work on them because she's going to be kind of immune to whatever this is. But it could cause a big panic because it could allow everybody else to see that they are being directly targeted by somebody else. And then bad things start kind of occurring as a result, because everybody else is going to be kind of on edge about who this person is or what exactly it is that they're here doing, or whatever their goals and intentions are. So I'm very interested, I guess, to see if I'm correct, and also the direction that would lead us in further afterwards. But yeah, very excited. If you like it all, like and subscribe to me on to make that for Instagram for this discussion. Leave any comments with this specific series. This is going to get blocked at some point, probably within the week. If you still want to watch afterwards and you're watching a little bit late, just check the link in the description or the comments and you'll still be able to watch there. Let's get going though with episode. Drama in the palace continues, I guess, not necessarily beginning. And a lot of shit kind of goes down here, which is interesting. It's more so, I guess, hinted at towards feelings and relations and stuff between a lot of the characters and how that stuff's kind of shaped out over time, I guess, now, and where it's kind of at now, and Mao Mao being able to pick up on that and gain a better understanding through just such a simple event and a first time encounter with a lot of these people is really fascinating and interesting for her. And we get a lot of fun moments too with her, the poison and everything else, and then even some her and Jinshi moments, which are great too. And I think a lot of it came together to make something really cool for this sort of episode. I don't have anything I want to, I guess, just say right away, so we're just gonna jump into the episode and we'll talk about it as we go. So we start off and we nail the atmosphere, kind of what's going on. It's a little bit hard, I guess, making it so like beautiful and sunny out the way that it is, but also nailing the fact that it is so cold. It's not necessarily the easiest thing, I guess, to do, and I think they do a good job of immediately kind of putting that at the center stage here, of letting you know that all these people are out here dancing and stuff in these outfits and everything, but they are, you know, cold because of all the other shit that's kind of going down here, and really showcasing you the different aspects and people that are involved to make this party kind of come about at the event itself, which is very spectacular. I asked, I think, during the discussion, and I'm also asked once again, I'm assuming at the time something like this is very grand and very special, but for the people actually participating and performing and everything involved within it here, this is probably a truly special moment. It's not one of those things that they like don't want to be there, don't want to be involved. They want to be able to look their best and be involved, especially in front of the Emperor and all these other people. It's a big deal and big moment for them. So being able to see these other girls and stuff in the scene who don't like maybe necessarily want to be there as much or don't have as much of a role or a place, it is a little kind of bumming for them, because this could be such a big moment for them to shine, or something to really showcase the things that they've kind of done over time. While I guess these other girls and stuff aren't performers in a way that everybody else up here is, it's still like a very grand scale thing, which I think is really cool. We begin spilling some things, I guess, a little bit about the inner workings, I guess, of all this, and they start introducing stuff with like family trees and stuff that kind of come up. Those are things where they hurt my head, and it's just whenever like titles of things come up for family purposes, like it, for whatever reason, I can never nail down what exactly they mean in their relation. From what I am getting here, though, so this girl is the mother of the Emperor, and we are kind of just presenting, because I was getting confused by the kid, but this isn't her kid, right? I'm pretty sure this is just the other one that we've seen before. She's just holding it in this situation. So she is the mother of the Emperor currently. She was considered to be very young at the time, barely older, I'm assuming at this point, than the Emperor So I'm guessing she was probably, unfortunately, around the same age that the younger one. Sorry about names too. I'm definitely not gonna be able to remember those. But the younger one at the current time that we have now, I'm assuming they were probably, or she's probably roughly the same age when she ended up giving birth to the emperor currently. So she's probably, I don't remember how old she said, but 12 or 13 years, I would assume, difference, which is kind of fucking crazy to think about, which I guess unfortunately just showcases that the previous emperor himself probably had a type, and it's not a good one. Having the current emperor, his mother at the time, I'm assuming, like I said, be probably around that same age that this younger girl is now, and then at the exact time that she ended up gaining the role that she has, they said that she was about 9, which is fucking insane to really think about. Ultimately, not a good thing, right? Definitely isn't. There's not too much really, I guess, for me to go into and saying that. Like, we understand it's bad, right? We understand like where the time period is also different. I'm assuming laws and rules and how things were kind of perceived and looked at the time were probably different as well. While Mao Mao seems to share the same sentiment that I would hope everybody else ends up happening in the situation. It just, one of those things that I'm assuming actually happened and was fairly common at the time. And now if it wasn't, and Buddy just had something, but he had so much authority at the time that nobody really could say or do anything about it, there's a different story. I don't know enough history wise for me to really, I guess, say anything. I'm just basing it on other things that I've seen, and I have seen things that seem to kind of fall into the same sort of category, where they tend to be younger in these situations. So I'm just going to assume that's like a natural thing, especially at this time, and then we're going to leave it at that. But it does become very telling, especially in that, and it becomes very weird, especially because the current girl, the younger one currently now, seems to be, not too happy with her role, especially. Also because probably she wasn't chosen by the current emperor himself, right? I mean, she could have been because she ended up becoming it later. So I guess there's the opportunity that the current one definitely has similarities to his father at the end of the day. That's entirely possible. I would just be led to believe not. Circumstances, I would be led to believe, would kind of lead her back into that role or into that situation for whatever the reason may be. And we haven't necessarily seen how they react or interact with each other to have a strong understanding if this is something that the emperor himself really wanted or is happy with, or if it's a little weird at the time. So I don't know. I got no idea, but we'll kind of skip over that, I guess, for now and see how it is. It's interesting to see too how the different parties here kind of don't get along at all in the slightest, and always have these remarks and things that they want to say to each other. Mao Mao being able to turn on the faces like this and be able to spook them off and actually make them realize who exactly that she is. It's also cool to know, I guess, that everybody cannot actually understand that it's her because of the makeup and everything that she has on now. So being able to still have something like this to remind them without actually coming out and saying who she is or whatever it is, and making her presence very known and felt by these other people is funny. More arguing and bickering, of course, of the other groups, of course, them not getting together too well. This is where we get the family tree thing. This is where I don't follow or understand. So is this trying to, okay, so that is that other girl. I kept thinking this was Jinshi because of the purple hair. I don't know why. So it was, hold on, let me give me a minute. I'm gonna understand this. Yeah, I've looked at it. I still got no idea. The diagram that they use makes it seem rather weird because the younger girl in the situation doesn't move positions at all, but I'm pretty sure they described it in a situation where she was with the older emperor at one point and then shifted down into the other, as opposed to the still that they're kind of leaving us with here now. And it makes my understanding of the entire situation rather difficult because I'm trying to understand the girl that they're showcasing on the left here, what her role is in all of this and why the anger and issues kind of are coming about between them. And maybe if I could form something, but I'm not understanding in the slightest kind of what's going on. Maybe somebody can kind of dumb that down for me, unless we're going to get a lot more into it and you don't really need to say anything. But I would like to understand if the diagram seemed to be rather off for what it was. Anyways, everything else I still said stands. We push forward a little bit more. Mao Mao becomes very popular at this event. She constantly is getting these different hair clips from other people to a point that she can no longer keep them in her hair, especially, and she has to just kind of wear them like a badge of honor in a way. The meaning behind them, I'm assuming, at least the last time, I assumed it was like a claim or like a target or something that they're putting on this person in a way that they like are saying, I want this person, or I want like whatever it is. Like I if somebody else, I would guess, because another guy still does it while noticing probably the other one that Jinshi ended up giving her at some point to keep the other guys at this point away. I'd assume it's like a open challenge sort of thing. Like, okay, both of them kind of want her, and then I don't know if she gets the decision or if they have to like do something, but I'd assume it was. But then when the other lady here in the situation ends up giving her one too, I don't follow, but they did talk about that there are other meanings and stuff than what I think what I was perceiving. So I'd be curious to figure out what they are, if there is just one other one and it's what I am thinking or not. I don't particularly know, but she became very popular at this event, and multiple people did though, which I think is great. We get her fun time being a poison tester. I don't know why I never crossed my mind that there would be multiple, that every single person would have to have their own. I just assumed that it was like her and she just was in charge of this, you know, for everybody, especially at this event too. But the fact that we didn't is rather, I guess, interesting and weird. We get some really amazing Mao Mao moments here, different faces and just moments from her, showing her very many sides, especially her weird side here, which I think is great. And they make this absolutely fantastic. We do pay a lot of attention at the others, which is very nice for Mao Mao to be so observant, because it comes in handy, you know, pretty much later on. We get some great faces, especially when the poison ends up coming out in this moment here, which sends everybody into a shock. Pretty much, I'm assuming what ends up happening and what we end up figuring out for probably the rest of this episode, now that they kind of go into here, is behind the idea that it seems like we weren't trying to kill her, but we were trying to target her. No, let me take that back. We were trying to, or we have somebody who was trying to do something to target and kill, I would assume at this point, and do away with Li Shu, right? The younger one. I'm assuming they've laid traps in some sort of way for you to kind of be looking at the idea that it could be this other girl that she has some sort of issue with. We don't know for sure if it could be somebody else involved with that, but it seems like they're trying to at least lead you into believing towards that direction. The inner people working under Li Shu in this situation seem to have it out for her in a way that they weren't trying to kill her, but trying to maybe teach her a lesson or send her a message, or trying to see her suffer, or trying to do something, especially probably because she's somebody at such a young age who has such a high status, and having to kind of look up to and work under this person, especially when they are so much younger than you in these moments, is not necessarily something that a lot of people are too happy with. I mean, that happens present day, as many people see, like especially at places more entry level, especially you'll end up having people get like positions of like managers or higher ups or whatever when they're kind of younger, and then you have people who've been there for a little bit who might be a lot older, and then having to look up to or talk to somebody who maybe has started after you, or is just a lot younger than you, is something that feels rather often weird, and not something that you really like to do too much. It's a similar thing, I'd assume, in that situation. So they try to send a message, and their message in a way of doing this, it's like a form of bullying, and what they're trying to do is switch these dishes, which is what they do because they know that she gets these reactions when she ends up having this sort of fish, and it causes bad things to happen, especially the marking and everything on the arm, the thing that Jinshi himself was looking for previously. Before, I'm assuming it was related to the wooden situation, but here it seems to be a little bit different, while possibly still relating. But what ended up happening at the exact time is they swapped out the poison that was supposed to end up killing her in this moment, and Mao Mao ends up getting it and taking the blow, which, to be honest, is the best case scenario in this but it's still not good, because of course now we have to be very observant to the other people that could be kind of targeting anybody in this moment, which isn't the greatest situation. It makes it happy for Mao Mao. Like, look at the smile on her. She's absolutely thrilled. The diagrams that they were doing here of her and just overexcitement when she's like so numb and can't feel anything, and after trying to eat all this, the poison is so great. Drooling and asking for the rest. it was really a highlight episode, fan service moment for Mao Mao, right? I said it last time with the makeup and everything, but we really went into it this time, which I think is wonderful. Her noticing, especially the change and difference in Jinshi. I'm gonna have to look, but to me, it looked identical. But she was noticing like his hair clip and him acting or being different in sort of ways, which to me I don't really notice. I guess it's just his more serious nature as opposed to being rather weird. How he kind of comes off to her in other moments. Maybe that's the exact thing that she did. We end up seeing her kind of throw up the rest, and then ultimately we end up getting caught with the arm, and we kind of just confront them about everything that I just went into. Of course, the girl in the back here, her poison tester in this, was not expecting this to be the case, especially death in that moment. I think it was more so, like I said, they were just trying to teach her things or bully her, but they don't want to be responsible for killing this person, especially, right? Like, of course they don't want to. So this is like a real wake up call of like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't mess around with these sort of things, or maybe, you know, I should kind of understand this a little bit more before we end up starting, which ultimately gets Mao Mao really pissed and gives us some more great moments out of her. Mao Mao hits Jinshi with some great lines here about the idea of not touching her because she's in the lower class and how she's the only one who says it, but she's like, yeah, that's because all the others, all the others can't. It's so good. They talk about the wooden tablet thing again here, about it seems like it would be connected in some sort of way, but I still don't know exactly how it would be related. So there is somebody kind of still lurking in trying to do things and trying to take her out, whether it could be somebody from one of the other palaces or it could be somebody completely on the outside. I have absolutely no idea. Like I said, I think they're trying to make you lean a little bit more into the idea that it is somebody, but I have absolutely no clue. Really fun. Absolutely love especially the Mao Mao moments throughout this, and the way that they kind of attempted to set that up. Family stuff always weird with me because it's difficult for me to nail down, you know, who's who in relation to who, and I don't think the diagram that they provided was very useful, unless I'm just misunderstanding or believing that certain people are other people when they're not. So if you want to kind of explain that or dumb it down to the best of your ability without really going into too much that might, I guess, spoil things about what it was that they were trying to explain in those situations, please let me know. It's gonna be all from me though. If you liked it all, the like and subscribe to me. Feel free to check out the other videos channel when it comes with this bizarre series. I'll be back for episode 7. I won't be on time next week. I will not be on time, so do not do not expect that we're gonna be multiple days late, but it will be for the one after that comes out, right? So it's gonna come though, so just give me some time. Yeah, have a good one though. Peace.